Welcome back to an episode of the Guns Book Club in the Book Club. Yeah! And today, guys, we're extremely special episode. Today, guys, we're on episode number 363. And we continue our journey with influence of psychology of conservation by Robert P. Kennedy. We start a new chapter 6, authority, direct defenses, direct defense, deference, directed deference. Follow an expert virgin. Quote, follow an expert virgin. Page 167 to 169 in the PDF. Let's go. Suppose that while reading throughout the newspaper, you notice an ad for volunteers to take part in a study of memory being done in the psychology department of a nearby university. Let's suppose further that, finding the idea of such an experiment intriguing, you contact the director of the study, Professor Stanley Milgram, and make arrangements to participate in an hour-long session. When you arrive at the laboratory suite, you meet two men. One is a researcher in charge of the experiment, as is clearly evidenced by the gray lab coat he wears and the keyboard he carries. The other is a volunteer like himself who seems average in all respects. After initial greeting and pleasantries are exchanged. The researcher begins to explain the procedures to be followed. He says that the experiment is a study of how punishment affects learning and memory. Therefore, one participant will have the task of learning pairs of words in a long list until each pair can be recalled perfectly. This person is to be called the learner. The other participant's job will be to test the learner memory and to deliver increasingly strong electric shocks for every mistake. For every mistake, this person will be designated the teacher. Naturally, you get a bit nervous at this news, and your apprehension increases when, after joining a loss with your partner, you find that you are assigned the learner role. You hadn't expected the possibility of pain as part of the study, so you briefly consider leaving. But no. You think there is plenty of time for that if needed to be, and besides, how strong a shock could it be? After you have had a chance to study the list of word spells, the researchers strap you into a chair and, with the teacher looking on, it teaches electrodes touches electrodes to your arm. Moreover, now about the effect of the shock. You inquire into its severity. The researcher's response is hardly comforting. He says that although the shocks can be extremely painful, they will cause you no permanent tissues damage. With that, the researcher and the teacher will leave you alone and go to the next room, where the teacher asks you the test questions through an intercom system and delivers electric punishment for every wrong response. As the test proceeds, you quickly recognize the pattern that the teacher follows. He asks the question and waits for your answer over the intercom. Whenever you hear, he announces the voltage of the shock you are about to receive and pulls a lever to deliver the punishment. The most troubling thing is that with each error you make, the shock increases by 15 volts. The first part of the test progresses smoothly. The shocks are annoying but tolerable. Later on, though, as your mistakes accumulate and the shock voltages climb, the punishment begins to hurt enough to disrupt your concentration, which leads to more errors and ever more disruptive shocks. As a 75, 90, and 105 volt levels, the pain makes you growl audibly. At 120 volts, you exclaim into the intercom that the shocks are really starting to hurt. You take one more punishment with a groan and decide that you can't take much more pain. After the teacher delivers the 150 volt shock, you shout back into the intercom, "That's it's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Please, let me out." But instead of the assurance you expect from the teacher that he and the researcher are coming to release you, the teacher merely gives you the next test question to answer. Surprised and confused, you mumble the first answer to come into your head. It's wrong, of course, and the teacher delivers a 165 volt shock. You scream at the teacher to stop, to let you out, but he responds only with the next test question, and with next splashing shock when your friend's answer is incorrect. You can't hold down the panic any longer. The shocks are so strong now, they make you writhen and shrink. You kick the ball, demand to be released, beg the teacher to help you. But the test questions continue as before, and so do the dreaded shocks in sonic jolts of 195, 210, 225, 240, 265, 270, 285, and 300 volts. You realize that you can't possibly answer the test correctly now, so you shout to the teacher that you won't answer his questions any longer. Nothing changes. The teacher interprets your failure to respond as an incorrect response and sends another bolt. The ordeal continues in this way until finally, the power of the shocks stuns you into near paralysis. You can no longer cry out, no longer struggle. You can only feel each terrible electric bite. Perhaps you think this total inactivity will cause the teacher to stop. There can be no reason to continue this experiment, but he proceeds relentlessly, calling out the test questions, announcing the already shock levels, about 400 volts now. Damn. And pulling the levels. What must this man be like? You wonder in confusion. Why doesn't he help me? Why won't he stop? For most of us, the above scenario reads like a bad dream. To recognize how nightmarish it is, though, we should understand that in most respects, it is real. There was such an experiment, actually, about serious, run by a psychology professor named Milgram, in which participants in the teacher role were willing to deliver continued, intense, and dangerous level of shock to a kicking, screeching, pleading other person. Only one major aspect of the experiment was not genuine. No any shock was delivered. The victim who repeatedly cried out in agony for mercy and release, was not a true subject, but an actor who only pretended to be shocked. The actual purpose of Milgram's study, then, had nothing to do with the effects of a punishment on learning and memory. Rather, it involved an entirely different question. When it is their job, how much suffering will ordinary people be willing to inflict on an entirely innocent other person? The answer is most unsettling. Under circumstances mirroring precisely the features of the bedroom, The typical teacher was willing to deliver as much pain as was available to give, rather than yield to the pleas of the victim. About 2/3 of the subjects in Milgram's experiment pulled every one of the field shock switches in front of them, and they continue to engage the last switch, 450 volts, until the researcher ended the experiment. More alarming still, not one of the 40 subjects in this study quit his job as teacher when the victim first began to demand his release. An hour later, when he began to beg for it. Not even later, when his reaction to each shock had become, in Milgram's words, definitely an agonized scream. Not until the 300-volt shock had been sent and the victim had shouted in desperation that he would no longer provide answers to the memory test. Did anyone stop? And even then, it was a distinct minority who did. Those results surprised everyone associated with the project, Milgram included. In fact, before the study began, he asked groups of colleagues, graduate students, and psychology majors at Yale University, where the experiment was performed, to read a copy of the experimental procedures and estimate how many subjects would go all the way to the last 450-volt shock. Invariably, the answers fell in the 1 to 2% range. A separate group of 39 psychiatrists predicted that only about 1 person in 1,000 would be willing to continue to the end. No one, then, was prepared for the behavioral patterns that the experiment actually produces. You guys, guess what? This is the end of the episode. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to put the fact that choosing to invest out of me. And I can't wait to see you all in tomorrow's episode of the Book. But in the end, thank you for have a great time and bye.